Hey everybody, welcome back to Just in Japan. Today I'm going to talk about some things you should know not to do before you go to Tokyo. These are like cultural things that maybe differ between where you're from and what they expect of you in Japan. I just want to preface this by saying that if you go as a foreigner, they're going to give you like a free pass for most of these things because usually they're not expecting you to know what to do, but I think it's good to know before you go so that you don't make a mistake and look stupid in front of everybody. They won't actually like say anything or call you out on it, but I think it's just out of respect what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So, rule number 1, eating and drinking on trains. So you probably already know this if you know anything about Japan at all. The trains are a very, very quiet place, and eating and drinking on the train is a big no-no. If you're a foreigner, like I said, you can probably get away with like having a drink or something on the train, and no one's going to say anything to you, but it's more about being respectful to others. You don't want to make loud noises on the train with like the cans opening. You also don't want to be eating anything that could be like offensive, smell offensive to somebody nearby. So that's another reason why you don't. And the trains are normally a very quiet place where you just sit and wait until you get off on your next stop. It's kind of nice actually. The trains, when I was there, it was very, very relaxing. It was almost like a sacred space. You just go in and sit down and just relax, listen to your music, read a book until you get to your destination. People even fall asleep on the trains. That's how quiet they are. Rule number 2, this goes for smokers. So if you don't smoke cigarettes, then this doesn't really pertain to you. When I was there in 2019, I was a smoker. I quit recently. But you cannot just smoke when you walk down the street, which I found a little interesting because you can usually do that anywhere you go. But there are designated smoking sections that you need to go to in order to smoke your cigarettes, and usually they're found right outside of train stations. They're not hard to miss. If you see like a group of people grouped together, that's the smoking area. It has like the smoking sign and everything, so it's really easy to find. But you can't just walk down the street smoking a cigarette. That's also so you don't offend anybody else that might be around you that maybe would be bothered by the smell of cigarettes, or they have some asthmatic problems. That's another reason why you cannot just smoke when you walk. But you can smoke in a lot of izakayas and a lot of restaurants and a lot of nightclubs. That rule was slowly changing as I was there because they were prepping for the 2020 Olympics, which, as we all know, did not happen. But I have seen some pictures of friends who live there where people are still smoking indoors. So if you're going to go to an izakaya and you're not a smoker, just know that people might be smoking cigarettes inside. It's allowed there, so it's kind of something that you have to just deal with, unfortunately. Rule number 3. This is again pertaining to eating and walking, or eating and drinking. You really shouldn't be eating and drinking while you're walking. Now this one is a little tricky. It's mainly saying, again, you don't want to be eating something and walking around that, the smell could offend somebody or things like that. So a lot of people, when they get food, they stand outside of konbinis or convenience stores and they just like eat their food right there and then throw it away. That's also because there's a lack of trash cans in the entire city, but it's a super, super clean city. But there are not really any trash cans anywhere except right outside of convenience stores. So a lot of people just consume the product and then throw it away right there. Otherwise, you will be carrying around trash with you all day until you can throw it away. Trust me, like that's one thing when I was there in 2018, I would, you'd have your water bottles and your tea bottles or your like onigiri wrapper or something, and if you ate it and you didn't have a trash can nearby, you were searching the streets for anywhere you could throw it away. Otherwise, you are carrying it with you until you get back home. So that's another thing you should take into consideration. There are some designated eating spots inside of konbinis for eating and drinking. It's kind of like off to the side of the konbini with stools, and you can sit and you can like do your work in the morning. You can eat your food really quick, and then you can also dispose of it right there. As far as like drinking, You can walk around and drink. It's more so the eating aspect I feel that was frowned upon than drinking, because if it's like a hot day and you need to have water on you, like obviously you can drink your water when you're walking down the street. You can drink your drink or whatever, your coffee or your adult beverage, if you will, because you can drink on the streets there, which is fabulous. You can have that when you're walking around. I think it's more just like the eating aspect that was a little bit frowned upon. So those are 3 things that you should know not to do before you come to Japan. If you guys want any more info about like maybe some other cultural differences that I could potentially answer for you, just put your comment down below and I will do my best to answer it. And also, I think I got the aspect ratio of this video figured out, so hopefully it looks nice. And I will do future videos like this, because the last one, I apologize, was a little tiny little rectangle, and it was very annoying, so I apologize. But thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you later.